Hello and welcome back to Let's Play Disco Elysium with me, Bring It On. Let's see if we can't find Ruby.
You see a once bright mural towering above you. The signage has peeled off over the years, but you can still make out Feld Electrical R&D. A slogan used to intertwine with the loops a long time ago. Now only a shadow of peeled letters remains. It says, "Tomorrow is just a whisper away."
Alright, step closer.
Above the mural, a collapsed roof, broken windows set in walls that are cracking and will soon also fall, and the coastal breeze rustling and sighing in the remains of the edifice. Feld Electrical. How ironic, all these dark rooms. Feld Electrical, you only know them as a small company that makes ink cartridges. Looks like they used to be big. There's something in the wind. Sometimes the only way to go forward is to fail first.
Why do I feel like I know this place?
Indeed, somehow you knew it was here. An urban ruin gutted by looters that once used to consume money and dispense warmth and light.
Could Ruby be in there?
In there? She could. Or she could be in the identical room over there, or in that boat shack, in that church tower maybe.
Lieutenant points behind you.
Why single out this one building?
Oh. I'm getting bonuses for all the stuff that we've done around the city. That's really neat. I like to think that that's the city of Revachol helping us for helping its citizens. It's like the entity that we interacted with in the church after we collapsed from dancing. That female voice. Because this whole time they've given the city of Martinez, of Revachol, sorry, the Martinez and Revachol as a whole, this almost like mystical quality. So yeah, I think the city's returning the favor. Because I got +3 from finding the empty trap, +3 from hearing Lena's true story, +1 reconstructed execution to the south of here, +2 made the call to our, I assume, ex-lover, +1 for confronting the pigs, +2 for establishing the nightclub, +2 for discovering the anomaly in the church, +3 for delivering the death notification to the working class woman, and then +1 I found the jacket. Either my RCM jacket or the jacket that was on the boardwalk. Alright, so let's listen to the wind.
Even though you're sure you succeeded, all is quiet. There is no cold hand brushing against your forehead, no rustle in the reeds. The wind has died down. The ruin in front of you is silent as a tomb.
Yeah, what was I even attempting to do here?
Trying to talk to the wind, the city, whatever you thought would happen, did not. And now you're just standing there with your hands fallen to your side. Is trying to talk to the city something you've done before? Is it in your secret repertoire? A trick for when you're out of ideas? A prayer of sorts to Revachol.
Yeah, so the dialogue is reinforcing what I said. Alright, turn to the lieutenant. She could be anywhere. How do we find her?
How do we? I was really hoping she'd be in the village. Okay.
Lieutenant sighs, then gets a hold of himself.
She's probably north of the village, and this place is a peninsula. We already scanned most of the outdoor areas on our wild cryptid hunt, so we have an understanding of the geography, at least.
He looks north.
And then there's the church. We've already searched that and can rule it out. I know it doesn't feel like progress, but exclusion is a step too.
He looks at the bell tower.
Anyway, we do it the old-fashioned way, sector by sector. Go over the whole peninsula, ask the locals, enter the places where we can enter first, like we did in the village.
And if that fails, if we don't find her,
Then, if we're desperate, we can look where we can't enter. Bunkers, storm drainage, this place. I'm sure it won't come to that.
he looks behind him, at the dark red box crumbling across the chasm.
Walk the coast, the old boardwalk, the reeds. You can always come back here and talk to the wind again. Look where it already got you.
Alright, listen to the wind again.
Suddenly, there's a sigh, carried on the molecules around you, moving, flowing from high pressure to low pressure, like that of a woman emptying her lungs. She wraps the collapsing stone box in front of you in her breath, flowing through it.
Where does it go?
In through the collapsed roof, flowing down a concrete staircase to the basement, sweeping away footprints in the dust on the stairs, and then the beach below the boardwalk, its winding tunnels, a whisper away.
What is happening?
She's down there.
Say, I think she's down there, below this building.
Okay. Why?
We've looked everywhere else.
Right. How do we get in there? The doors were on the collapsed side of this building. They're gone, basically.
He shrugs. There's a ladder next to the sign. I'll point to it. Perhaps we can climb it. Enter through the roof.
Perhaps you can climb them. We are not climbing anything. I'm 43 years old, and I plan to live to see 70.
Well, first, what's this?
An old pipe peeks out from beneath the rotten boards of the boardwalk. Could this be an alternative path into the Feld building? A building like this must have multiple doors serving various functions. Perhaps a basement access.
Come closer and look in.
Your eyes slowly begin to adjust to the darkness inside the drainage pipe. The lieutenant looks over your shoulder.
What's in there?
A thin layer of snow gleams inside the pipe.
Okay. What else?
As your eyes adjust, you see some trash. Crumpled up newspapers, cigarette butts. Someone has half-heartedly spray-painted skulls on the right side.
And?
And nothing. Broken glass from bottles thrown against the walls of the pipe. A syringe.
Can we get into the Feld building through this pipe?
Given that this isn't a martial arts thriller, it's highly unlikely, and not without risk to our health either.
A grin flickers across his face.
However, the pipe suggests there may be an entrance to the basement around.
Lieutenant pushes aside the reeds and looks around.
And it's right here. A maintenance door.
He points to a rusted metal double door to the right of the pipe, obscured by the reeds. Well, we can try yanking it open. Don't think we have a very good chance of success. I think that's everything that gives me a boost. I'll double check though. Make sure I don't have anything that's hurting it. Oh, let's see.
Behind the pipe, the maintenance door, rusted shut and half sunken in sand.
Alright, try to pull the door apart.
The metal doors are heavy and the flaking rust hurts your palms. But together with the lieutenant, you manage to slide them open just enough to squeeze in.
Good work. Shall we?
Lieutenant nods towards the impenetrable darkness inside. Yep, go in. Should probably equip my gun. We don't know what Ruby's gonna do. But then again, that might provoke a reaction out of her that we don't need to provoke. And we probably don't need -2 to authority, so let's do this. Flashlight and a gun. Let's hope that Harry here is left-handed. This overturned table is covered in orange mildew, crawling with something. Antiquated office furniture, last century maybe. Brought down and forgotten, so long ago. This collapse nearly sealed the basement. One can barely squeeze by. This must take us up to the roof. A postcard. Martinez 98. A faded picture postcard from the end of the last century shows Martinez as it was before the revolution. It's the height of summer. Rue de Saint-Ghislain is teeming with parasol-wielding bourgeois. Or I didn't think I'm saying that right. And wild pines flags buttress the walkway. Nothing is written on the back. See that word all of the time. I don't know if I'm saying it right. The glass is covered with grime and dust. You can barely see out. Let's see if there's anything on the roof worth it checking out. And then we'll proceed into the basement. Stones fall. It's a long way down. The gusts of wind. The height feels dizzying. The central support beam has been destroyed by artillery fire. Alright, back inside. Alright, before I forget, let me swap back into my other equipment. Alright, put that back on, but I want my other pants on. Let's see. Yeah, we'll do that. Old file folders in the cart. Documents silvery with mold. A series of thick, dusty panes of glass. And an intersolary suit jacket. It's +1 a suggestion, dress for the occasion. A muted brown suit jacket perfect for a day at the office, or an evening at a cafe. The red rose at the bottom of the left breast pocket is slowly wilting. I think it looks pretty good on him. For the jacket, because it gives me more stats. And +1 a suggestion might come in handy. Can use that for our date with Lillian. The beam of the flashlight, a crevice in the wall. I think I have my flashlight equipped. Revolutionary's hat, a +1 to Mazovian socioeconomics, which I forgot. Ushanka with the Mazovian logo, a pair of deer antlers, on its silvery white front. Your ears feel cuddled and cared for by the state.
This hat is so soft, so warm. It wraps around your head, and your mind tingles with all manner of socio-economic theory.
This is an Ushanka hat. Or, sorry, this is an Ushanka, right? Pat the hat.
Kraz Mazov would have worn this Ushanka. Mazov knew where to cook those thoughts. That's why it bears a Mazovian logo. Glory to the revolution, comrade. Whether you like it or not, wearing this hat has made you more communist.
Alright, well, I still want to wear my Dick Mullins hat. So we are a detective after all. Revolutionary propaganda on the bunk bed. Ancient flyers and brochures. These pots and plates are full of dust and spider webs. The same slit window you saw from the outside.
Could this have been the killer's hideout? And this narrow window, the point of origin of the shot that killed the mercenary? This does look like an embrasure, a slit made for shooting out of.
Peek out.
Outside the window, desolation. Snow falls softly onto the coastal sand, where it melts almost instantly. On rooftops, it lingers.
Turn to Kim. Could the killer have used this as a hideout?
It's a great place to hide, certainly. But there hasn't been anyone in here for ages.
Kim, I can't see the whirling in rags. The shot didn't come from here.
Indeed. No one could get a clear view. Well, at least we've been thorough. I like thorough.
The lieutenant's voice betrays a slight disappointment, which he glosses over by reasserting control.
Oh, the poster. Almost missed it. Oh. Stale fabric, smell, and dust. No one slept here in months, maybe years.
A mustachioed and mutton-chopped man, amateurishly depicted, gazes at you with sad eyes. A plaque reads, K. Mazov. There is a spiderweb in the lower left corner of the portrait.
Brush the dust off the portrait.
Years' worth of dust is shaken off. The full head of hair, matched by an ample moustache and sideburns, look a bit silly.
It's Mazov. What a troublemaker he was.
Yes. Looks like some latter-day radicals were hiding out here. They left a long time ago.
A long time ago. How long?
Half a century? This was probably part of the network of defense posts the communards built against the amphibious landing.
He looks around.
I think the purpose of this bunker was to produce propaganda. It would have had radio equipment back then, but that's all been looted.
What's with all these secret weapon caches and secret bunkers?
We have found a lot of those lately. I guess what most people think of as history tends to linger in rundown neighborhoods. Martinez being what it is, no one has gone through the trouble of cleaning out the old bunkers.
Maybe I should move in here. Seems cozy.
I won't stand in your way, but only after we're through with this case.
Could it be connected to the Mazov bust we found in the student's room?
Millions of depictions of Mazov have been produced. They're not all connected. Besides, that looked like some student. The youths always go for this kind of stuff.
Could someone have stopped through here recently?
You mean like Ruby? No, I think we've stumbled on a piece of history.
He looks at the dust. Alright, let's go. Yeah, we established that multiple times. No one's been in there. Footprints in the sand. One of the souls appears more worn than the other. There's our odd soul. There's something in the air. No natural buzzing. The tunnel collapsed. You have to find another way around. Well, that I can do. It's getting louder. The buzzing sound. Not sound. Oh, get back here.
There it is again, like a swarm of hornets buzzing under your scalp. A strange tingling you can almost smell.
Lieutenant, do you feel something?
No. What do you mean?
A pain. A strange tingling.
I don't feel it, but we should still be careful. There were footprints back there, and I'm pretty sure they were fresh.
He looks ahead, beyond the arch. I saw them too. Footprints with the right sole worn smooth.
Looks like our suspect. If she's in here, we need to plan our next step carefully.
What do you mean?
Once we detain a credible suspect, who knows what the Union and the Wild Pines will do? We'll set in motion events we have no control over.
He lowers his voice. So this is the point of no return.
You will upset the balance of power in Martinez. The deadlock between the company and the Union will destabilize. Keep calm. Go over the whole situation in detail.
We've already talked to Joyce about that, but I'll bring it up anyway. We found out Everart's plan to take the harbor. Maybe we should tell Joyce about it.
I leave that to your judgment. You already know what I think about cross-pollinating information like this. It's dangerous, but
He just can't be sure. Maybe it will yield something useful.
How bad do you think things could get?
well, we are not responsible for what we can't predict, are we? I don't think the entire city will be razed to the ground.
He smiles in the dark.
If you can't predict it, there's nothing you could have done.
What do you think is waiting for us there?
I think I see a cavern. Maybe more cellars? I think we've been careful enough. We still have the element of surprise.
Lieutenant's whisper echoes down the tunnel.
I wouldn't be so sure. You haven't exactly been sneaking.
Or maybe not. Either way, once we go deeper, there will be no turning back.
He puts his hand to his holster. Well, I'm fine with that. Let's get Ruby. A concrete pipe, buried in sand and dust. Well, we can still grab... They're still giving us money, so... I assume money will still be useful at some point. or something.
Suddenly, your entire body is paralyzed. Aggressive white noise fills your skull. A strange pain like you've never felt before. Through the static, you hear a woman's voice. It's like 1,000 radio stations are being blasted into your head all at once. But her words are the only ones you can make out.
I know you're feeling pretty uncomfortable right now. Don't move too much or fight it. That'll just make it worse.
Says the shadowy figure by the machine.
Can't say it's a pleasure, officer. I was really hoping not to make your acquaintance. But here we are.
As she says the word officer, you feel a spike in the agony. It sounds like the entire radio frequency range is screaming directly into your neural pathways.
Yeah, cover your ears.
No, buddy, that's not going to help. You can't shield yourself from this. It's an entirely new type of experience, way worse than all the previous ones. Don't focus on the pain. Focus on doing your job. Tell her she's under arrest.
You yell through the static. You're under arrest.
Really now? Check this out.
She turns the dial in her hand.
You're overwhelmed with a new surge of violent static. It feels like a blood vessel exploded in your brain.
What's happening to me?
I'm using a pale latitude compressor. You and your partner have been caught in its field.
The explosion of static you're hearing is the ULAN frequency, blasted from that pale emitter that Angus mentioned.
I saw your equations. It's the Ulan frequency.
Saw my equations? You've been sniffing through my lorry, right? I expected as much. I am a bit surprised you knew what you were looking at.
She snorts.
A pale latitude compressor is used to sort of make the pale more manageable. With a lot of these, you can force a radio signal grid on the pale, literally crunch the distance across it. Signals are relayed across a series of repeater stations fixed to buoys. Not a fun job manning those stations. All alone out there in the pale, people lose their minds in just a few years.
She pauses.
So, what we are experiencing is a concentration of radio waves.
He gestures towards something with great effort.
Precisely. This is an industrial strength paraboloid. It's meant for forcing dimensions on something that doesn't have them. Needless to say, the frequencies used are out of this world. At the upper limit is the large prime number generator station. It's used specifically for pale latitude compression. That's why you may be hearing some numbers. But you might also hear, or think you're hearing, local radio chatter.
She likes telling you about the machine. Keep her talking. Look for an opportunity to break loose.
How did you get your hands on this thing?
I built it myself.
She nods towards her torture device.
That's illegal. I'm guessing it's patented. But we are beyond that, aren't we?
Oh yeah, way beyond.
She studies her death ray and the law officials trapped in it. Will I stay like this forever?
No. Once I shut down the compressor, the pain will end. It may take a few minutes for you to steady yourself, though. It's a bit like waking out of a very confusing dream.
She hesitates. Have you... Oh, still going. Oh, that might be copyrighted. It shouldn't be. But I don't know. Is it gonna... I'm gonna let it play through. Have you experienced the compressor yourself?
Yeah, I stuck my head in there before using it on you. It seemed like the ethical thing to do. Can't say that I enjoyed it. The field was weaker, but I can imagine what you're going through.
Well, this is all great, but let's talk about the man who was killed.
Yeah, let's not talk about that shit. You were hunting me and fell into my trap instead. That's all there is to say about it.
So she thinks of you as hunters, not the cops, and of herself merely as prey.
Please, can you just turn it down so I can ask you something?
If you've got something really important to say, you can do it through the white noise.
2, 3, 6, 1, 8, 9, 2, 8, 1.
We're looking for a deal on mattress.
Spirit FM.
Box scoring please use 22971047302819.
Yeah, it definitely sounds like copyright. Though there is a setting in the game that turns off the copyright stuff, so maybe not. Lieutenant clutches his head, grimacing.
God damn it.
She regards you and Kim with sudden sympathy.
Fine. If you really want to talk, I can dial it down. I've also got a gun, by the way.
She steps reluctantly out of the shadows. The pain lessens.
The gun she's carrying is a 2-barreled front loader, not like a murder weapon. Well, it doesn't feel much better, but she can form sentences now. Thinking doesn't seem to hurt as much. There's only 3 meters between you and the machine. If you keep her distracted for long enough, maybe. Be careful when you make your move. That'll be it for questions. Bide your time.
How did you know we were coming?
I heard you in the passages, and I've been preparing for quite a while.
By hiding bullets under floorboards.
So you found my shack, huh? I'm not surprised.
Her tone is bitter. She thinks she's been betrayed.
She didn't rat you out, by the way. Isabel, the washerwoman.
So nice. That's one knife I didn't want to find to my back.
She smiles a little smile. Preparing for the worst.
I was. Before I caught you in the pale latitude compressor. I'm fine now.
That's her admitting the bullet was an emergency exit.
Did you shoot Lely?
No, I didn't do it. I only helped stage the lynching, though I doubt that makes much of a difference to you. Who ratted me out, by the way? Was it Titus? No, he wouldn't have broken first.
She hesitates. You're right. Flossie was the first to share her suspicions.
Oh, I knew the kitten had claws, but not like this.
She smiles sadly.
But she couldn't have known I was on the coast. How did you find me?
Your first guess wasn't entirely off.
Titus and his boys, man. They told us you were on the coast.
Even now, Kim is a paragon of professionalism. He is trying to make a clean cut of telling her she was betrayed.
Well, fuck. Those guys liked me, I know it. If this is what happens to people whom people like...
She pauses, taking it in.
A dull despair is creeping into her voice.
How the fuck did the rest of you get by?
Wait, wasn't it you who called me the human can opener? It's not personal. I opened them up.
I did, didn't I? Now you've come for me. Fuck them all the same.
She scoffs.
That did make her forgive them. A little.
I do it by asking questions. I have some for you.
Like what? I already told you I didn't do it.
She adjusts her grip on her gun.
A strong moral compass. She still wants the opportunity to make a case for herself.
Would you say that Lely was a likable person?
I didn't like him. Hardened mercenaries aren't particularly likable types.
You don't feel sympathy for mercs. It's hard work.
Plenty of broken people who don't come with that kind of body count. Besides, they're paid well for what they do.
There's nothing more personal that you had against him. Perhaps his way with women.
You think I was envious of his conquests? Look, pussy's not a problem for me, and definitely not a reason to off someone.
Did you feel protective of the Union?
Yeah, sure. And I didn't like Wild Pines sending in those foreign hirelings. Me and a fuck ton of other people around here.
She didn't hate it, okay?
I have other questions.
I'm listening.
Do you have an alibi when Lely was shot?
Man, I was with the boys the whole night. I hope they at least bothered to impress that upon me.
There were 10 minutes they couldn't account for.
You mean the length of a toilet break? That wouldn't even have been enough time.
Hold on. No one takes a 15-minute leak.
Look, fuck you, man. I might also have stopped by the bar.
She speaketh truth.
Our investigation, Wince from the Pain, has shown that 15 minutes was just enough time to commit the murder.
Wow. Now I'm curious. Please, explain.
Play pinball much?
No. Not since I was 14 and hanging out in the only diner in Dardun. Haven't been into low-risk, no-reward games since moving to the city. Why?
There are some mysterious pinball machines in some pretty mysterious rooms in the Whirling.
Yeah, and probably some ghosts from the time of the suzerain. I'm not really interested in supernatural mysteries.
Wait, Wince from the Pain. What kinds of mysteries interest you then?
Not murder mysteries either, if that's what you're thinking.
She looks you in the eye impassively, making it clear that she's not planning to comment on the matter any further.
Well, that's a shame, because I happen to be a paranatural detective.
Cool. They sent a ghost cop after me. Congratulations.
What about elevators? Do you like elevators?
The fuck do elevators have to do with anything?
Do you or don't you?
Not particularly.
Why not?
Why are you so hung up on elevators?
That's a pretty good question, actually. She clearly doesn't know anything about the secret passage.
Not even grab your head. Quaint old rickety ones.
I'm not really into old shit for old shit's sake.
God damn it!
Lieutenant grabs his head.
So you know she's not an antiques enthusiast. Not my jurisdiction, man. But it also doesn't sound like she used that secret route at all.
Look, there's a secret way from the ground floor of the Whirling to the roof.
Don't know it. But also,
She frowns, studying your face.
the shot couldn't have come from the roof. Or we would have all heard it downstairs.
She has a point there. No one mentioned.
Pain stops him from finishing the sentence.
That didn't go super well. You've got to lay something better on her.
You have a gun.
And
Where did you get it?
the gun store.
What gun store?
Trigger Happy Jacks.
That doesn't sound like the name of a real store.
What did you think? That I'm going to squeal on my gun supplier? Sorry, I'm not that kind of gal.
I see it's a front loader. You have another gun somewhere.
Sure don't.
A breech loader?
No.
This is such a wipeout.
I can't quite tell what kind of gun is it.
A Nachtway 80 front loader. 2-barreled. Not really what you were looking for, I'm guessing.
That isn't it.
I know you don't like old things, but do you sell antique rifles on the side?
Never really got into weapons trafficking. Especially not old weapons. They break too often, and we don't want unhappy customers among gun collectors.
Wince. There's other evidence I want to ask you about.
Yeah, evidence.
You liked Klasia a lot.
I considered her a good friend, yeah.
Are you a girl liker?
What the hell, man? Yeah, why not? I've gotten worse.
She laughs. But you wanted to be more than just friends.
Oh, so that's where you were going with this.
She said you wanted to run away with her.
That's a very sentimental way of putting it. We both had pasts and didn't want to catch up with us. And we enjoyed listening to music together. Why not go on a road trip?
The lieutenant watches her expectantly, occasionally shaking from the pain.
Okay, fine. I was into her. Clausy was into me too for a time, I know it. We even fooled around once. And yeah, after that I thought maybe we could make a go of it.
She rolls her eyes.
Klasia only said they may be kissed. Someone is lying here.
Wait, Klasia said you only kissed.
If that's what she wants on the record, so be it. I'm not about to go into details for you to jerk off to later.
She rolls her eyes again.
Seriously, just move on.
Then what happened?
She rejected me with some wishy-washy bullshit about how she was confused because she felt so close to me and valued my friendship so much, and how guilty she felt for leading me on. I knew that wasn't the whole story, but thought, fine, I'll take it and move on.
No ill will there. It wasn't a problem for her.
Flossie said you got very angry when she started seeing Lely. Threatened her.
Yeah, one time when we'd both been drinking, I said some heated things about how dangerous her patterns with men were. I was a little worried she'd blow it out of proportion in her head. All the drugs she was doing can make you feel like you're living in a DeLorean tragedy.
And despite everything, you helped her by staging the lynching.
Yeah, the girl seemed terrified. The merc was beyond caring what happened to his mortal coil. It was a no-brainer.
There are other things I ask about.
Go ahead. It's your body.
And mine too, he thinks. But Kibo, this must be done.
Do you like to hang out on rooftops?
Who doesn't? Oh, you probably mean Claudia's rooftop. Sure, I've hung out there. She's got this great antenna.
Is that the only reason you hung out on the roof?
The view's pretty bomb, too. But you might say the antenna was the main attraction there, yeah. Along with Claudia.
What's so great about her antenna?
It's very powerful. I used it to tune into RCM frequencies. That's how I knew to be prepared for your arrival.
Come in.
So you're sure you didn't shoot the merc from the roof?
Yes, I'm sure. And anyway, as I said before, the shot had to have come from afar.
Do you leave any flowers for Claudia on the roof?
No. Gifts of flowers and candy aren't really my style.
These weren't just flowers. They symbols of revolution. Push through the pain.
So now I'm leaving revolutionary symbols around? Come on.
But Claudia was mourning.
I never did understand why, when someone dies, a hothouse's worth of flowers has to die too.
Okay, so you didn't leave Maybells.
No, I did not.
You're running. Drugs for the Union. I've been through your lorry.
So, Heart of Gold Tommy fucked me over too. Never trust a musician.
She shakes her head slowly.
That really comes as a blow to her.
No, he didn't. I found my own way in.
Okay, great. You got into my lorry on your own. What now? You're going to arrest me for drug trafficking?
A bitter smile.
Beneath it, she's relieved Tommy didn't betray her.
You had a financial incentive to kill the merc.
No. Gifts of flowers and candy aren't really my style.
That's a repeat from earlier when I asked about the flowers. Man, it's to get away from all that murderous crap that I left Jamrock, my previous employer, for the Union. Lieutenant's unable to articulate his question.
She deliberately avoided naming the mob she worked for. You might be able to find this out later.
I got lucky being a dispatcher. Never had to do any of the really dirty work myself. This gun has only been used for self-defense against serious scum.
She glances at it, as she turns the knob down just a millimeter.
There. It's going to be easier to reach the machine now.
But you're threatening us with it.
Based on what I've heard about you, you are serious scum.
She responds, holding your gaze. Okay, let's take a step back.
Yeah? Where?
More questions before doing anything.
Who killed the merc, if it wasn't you?
How should I know? As I keep saying, he already had a bullet in his head when I got to him, and there hasn't been any useful gossip over the radio.
Those rings around her eyes, her tired voice. She's been staying up late, listening in on the conversations crisscrossing Martinez.
Police radio? You've been following the case?
Who hasn't? You know, I can still see him there, in Claus's room, lying on his side.
She shrugs.
He was still warm, but the bluish light coming through the broken window made him look as though he'd been dead for a good long while.
What happened Sunday night? Tell me your version.
She eyes you warily. as though gauging your sincerity.
It's okay. We just want to...
He struggles to finish the sentence.
Alright, don't kill yourself over it. I was shooting the shit with Hardy and the boys over a few beers, like always. Then Klasha comes in, all pale and shuddering. She sits down with a drink, trying to steady her nerves. So I grab a seat next to her.
Wait, did she also seem high to you?
Oh yeah, super. But I didn't think too much of it at first. I'd seen her party hard before.
Marcia said you knew something was wrong immediately.
No, I really didn't. She's not that easy to read. I just assumed she'd done too much blow. It wouldn't be a first for her. But no such luck. She was in some deep shit. She asked me to come upstairs. The merc she'd been going with was lying on the bedroom floor, dead. I knew she couldn't get the authorities involved, so yeah.
You made it look like you'd been hanged.
Marcia said you seemed to have a plan, prepared when you got there.
What? No. Faking a lynching was her idea.
Her idea?
Yeah, in cold blood. It really surprised me how quickly she was able to get a hold of herself once we got up there. It was like she was another person. The party girl was gone.
Should have trusted my volition. Should have arrested her.
She asked me to help her drag him into the shower so she could wind the shower head around his neck to fake lividity. Then she dressed him while I went to get the Hardy boys.
Marcia knew exactly what she was doing. You can't remain calm under pressure otherwise.
Showerhead. Resourceful.
Yeah. I wasn't sure whether to admire her or be disturbed.
Do you think she killed Lely herself?
As I keep telling you cops, we didn't hear anything downstairs. No gunshot, nothing.
But even if this is true, weren't you worried this lynching might lead to...
Lieutenant forces himself to finish the sentence.
War? The thought crossed my mind. But the mercenary's death was going to have repercussions either way. Although the way things are going...
She purses her lips.
She doesn't want to talk about this, but not because she has something to hide. She doesn't want the guilt.
Yeah, fuck it. I'm not responsible for these people after what they did to me.
She shrugs. If you didn't kill him, why hide?
I saw you roll into town. I wasn't about to stick around for questioning by a goddamn La Puta Madre agent.
What do you mean by a La Puta Madre agent?
Yes, you. Everyone says you're his peon, his human can opener.
She looks at you quizzically.
Oh, fucking me.
With a sudden sharp pain in your head, you hear the lieutenant mumble something to himself.
Fucking hell. And why me? You hear through the white noise. It's especially bad suddenly. Felt like a vein exploded.
Who's everyone? How do you know this?
Everyone in Jamrock. The cops, the criminals. Why do you think I'm holed up in here with a goddamn death ray waiting for you?
If she knows that about you, she must know your real name too.
Tell me, what's my name? If you know that about me, you must know my name.
Harry Dubois. One corrupt motherfucker with the disco pants and a funny tie. Agent to La Puta Madre.
She replies quickly. So we're familiar with that name. He's supposed to be a major, like, gang leader, drug trafficker in, I guess Revachol or Martinet specifically.
So she knows your name. That doesn't mean you're on the tape. Criminals make up bogeyman stories about cops all the time.
La Puta Madre. I've heard of La Puta Madre. He's dangerous, right?
Is that a joke or a threat? I'm guessing both.
No, that was a real question.
Yeah, sure.
She doesn't believe you.
I'm sure La Puta Madre himself will explain it all to you soon enough.
What did you do to this Madre anyway?
You've been to my lorry. You think the biggest player in Jamrock appreciates competition? And now I have Harry Can Opener in my lair. Fucking Titus.
She pauses.
Wait, one thing. Possibly small, but she said you rolled into town. Was that you singular or plural? She might know something.
When I came into town, was there anyone with me?
Yeah, you had your death squad with you. What happened to them anyway?
Who was in this squad?
Well, it wasn't this scrawny dude. You had 2 guys and a lady. The guys looked pretty buff. Lady wasn't bad either.
She nods toward the lieutenant. What else can you tell me?
One of the guys seemed chipper, a blonde. The other had a brooding something or other about him. And the woman was the only one in uniform. All were carrying.
So we definitely met 2 of them. The 2 that were in the whirling in rags. The guy that was in disguise and the woman beside her. I don't know who the other guy. Oh, it was the guy we spoke to on the radio. But we haven't met him in person yet.
That sound about right?
She narrows her eyes.
No idea who these people are, literally.
No, that doesn't ring any bells.
Well, this has been a great talk, really. But I think I'm going to hit the road now.
Do you know about the bunker next door?
What bunker?
The communist hideout back there.
Don't know anything about it. No one's been around since I set up camp. But I'm sure I'm not the first vagabond to...
Voice trails off into white noise in your head. Feels like an aneurysm approaching. Alright, destroy the machine.
The compressor lies broken on its side. It's quiet in your head again. It still hurts like hell, but...
Whisper over your shoulder. You okay, Kim?
All good, officer. Be careful.
Lieutenant hunches, recovering.
She looks at the machine, assessing the damage. Her hand trembles.
Oh, fuck it.
She puts the barrel of the gun into her mouth. What are you doing?
Problem solving.
She mutters.
Ma'am, put the gun down. That's not the solution to your problems. You are...
Oh, yes it is.
No. I have 1 point to put into rhetoric. Where's it at? Convince her to put the gun down.
She's truly desperate. She thinks she has no other options. You need to give her options.
What options?
You know.
Maybe I can still talk her out of it.
This is how you talk her out of it. It's the only scenario in which she lives.
Please, put your hands up. Just walk away.
She stares at you, frozen, the gun still in her mouth, eyes filled with dark intensity. Then something shifts in her. Gratitude, doubt. She's still ready to go. Her neck and shoulders relax, and her grip on the gun loosens.
You don't have to do this. You're not cornered. I'm letting you go.
Day of miracles. I'll take it.
She says, pulling the gun out of her mouth, eyes still fixed on you. As she turns her gaze to the tunnel behind you.
She runs past you, then past the lieutenant, and disappears into the darkness of the tunnel.
Good call.
Lieutenant is still unsteady on his feet. Are you sure?
Yeah, I'm sure. I would have done the same had I not been incapacitated.
He has to catch his breath. Yeah, I think she didn't do it.
Her tent. We should check it out.
He points to the back of the cavern. Alright, so that went on for a little while, but we finally caught up with Ruby and learned a lot. Learned that Claudia is a dirty liar. Alright, so we'll continue this in the next episode. We'll explore her stuff over here and continue with the case. Thanks for watching. Hope to see you guys in the next one.